Hello and welcome to Noni, Yanga's flagship talk show where we discuss all the hot topics. Today we're celebrating the success of hit movie The Intent 2 and we look at the representation of black people in British film. Joining me today, co-writer and director of The Intent 2, Femi Oyeniran, and writer and director of web series Growing Pains, Natasha Adams. Hey guys, nice to see you.
Hey, how are you?
Good. The Intent 2, The Come Up, is the prequel to the inner city crime movie The Intent. Shot in the streets of London and Kingston, Jamaica, its highly anticipated release saw the sale of £150,000 on its first weekend alone. The movie has been described as the most exciting and commercial UK independent film of the year. Pat, 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 wow. Femi, are you really here? Because
really here.
according to your social media, you was in Jamaica the other day.
Yeah, I know.
Then LA.
I know.
And you're finally in Noni. Thank you for coming.
Thanks for having me.
Do you know what? I've got to say, it's kind of broken UK internet. UK social media, Black Twitter, everybody is talking about this film. Why has it struck such a chord?
Because it's for us, by us. I think the film is about black British people, and I know it's a crime thriller. I know people are like, why do you only make
You're diverting all those questions straight away.
No, but I don't know, but those questions are fair, and those questions are necessary to be answered. And I've answered those questions lots of times. I've made lots of content, but actually the only reason this film's done well is that, you know, it's probably the only film that's going out in the cinema this year that's been made by black British people that live in Britain.
Wow.
It's not American money, it's British money, and it's financed by Island Records. My execs at Island Records are black people, they're black men that have invested in other black men to make a movie and bring their vision to life. And there's no poster, you know, in the box office in forever that has like so many black people on the poster, like of a commercially released film that are black and British. I mean, we have American films all the time that come over and do business, and like, you know, Kevin Hart movies come out every few months, every year, and then you get your Black Panthers, you get Denzel Washington movies, but you don't get our own stars. You don't get to see, you know, your Gets or Adam Deacon, myself, Ashley Chin, Crepton Cole.
Hey, Sculpture.
You know, you don't get to see
Too many.
You don't get to see those people on screen, and I think I'm glad that, you know, I'm part of the team that's making that happen here in the UK.
Our producers have managed to find a PG clip, because let me tell you, there's not many of them. And let's have a look at what all the fuss is about.
Beverly's been running on them for a long time now. Every good thing must come to an end.
I want you to go to Jamaica.
I just woke up that lion out of my slumber. Better add a couple more zeros. I'm in front of that number.
Gosh, I'm not sure those bikinis were a bit PG, but anyway, Natasha, you were lucky enough to be invited to the premiere, and we talk a lot on Noni about the success of Africa and Ankara and Afrobeat, but The Intent 2, that kind of film is very British, black British, which is different from being African. Tell me about what you loved of the movie.
I really enjoyed the film. I really thought that the cast was amazing. He surprised me the most. He really surprised me. I like that they stayed true to who they were. You know, obviously they were filming in the ends, so that was really nice. They didn't change to fit in the norm or the white TV that we normally watch, so I really enjoyed that.
Of course, and I want to talk about Growing Pains. You were on Noni last season. Growing Pains, Femi, you've got to see it. It's just the most grittiest, truest. And I've seen a lot of British TV, and I live in London. I grew up there in inner city London. It has got to be the most genuine display of what goes on British streets. Can we actually throw to that? I think we've got a clip so we can see that now.
Okay.
Chris is my girlfriend.
And let's just stress for the viewers, and Femi, that's all on your budget.
Yeah.
Natasha, not only you write, you direct, you film, you're absolutely amazing, bigging it up for the women. Let me throw this question out to both of you as content creators. Do you feel responsible for kind of tailoring your craft to please the black audience, or is that not part of the process?
Well, for me, I'm filming the truth. I'm not trying to water it down. This is what happens in my community, the people around me, and I'm not trying to water it down. When I get on a bigger platform, I'll go even harder.
Oh wow, okay.
I suppose for me, it's there's a responsibility to the black community to represent them in the truest form, and in order to do that, you need to capture the full breadth of the black British experience, especially the black British experience, because it's kind of nuanced a little bit. It's
Very
not
much
it's
so.
not growing up African American, it's not growing up African, it's slightly different. And so I feel like the representation of black British people has not really been done over the years, and I feel as black British filmmakers we have to capture that. And so that's why I made my first film, It's a Lot, which was about a middle-class black family, and they go on holiday. Their oldest son borrows their car, crashes it before they come back on holiday. From holiday, has to think of a way to fix it before they get back. It's a comedy,
Sounds similar, yeah.
Yeah, that's a silly comedy. At the same time, I was involved in taking Venus versus Mars, which was a YouTube show, and taking that to Sky Living. I was involved in putting a program called Droppers on ITV2. So over the years, I've done lots of different things that tries to capture the different elements of our experience as black British people. And so when I make The Intent, that's part of that as well.
Yeah,
we shouldn't pretend that people are not criminals within the black
Yeah.
community.
Yeah. Why? But then you're talking about those successful projects you've done, and I know you've done lots, as well as being a political commentator with me. But why is it that films such as The Intent, series such as Growing Pains, which do depict, I'm not going to say negative, I'm just going to say raw street, why are they the ones that capture kind of Middle England's attention?
Not just Middle England. I feel like if you go to the cinema on the Friday The Intent came out, which was we were the second best performing film in that weekend.
Wow.
But actually, where we did do really well were areas where there were black people, and so it's not just I'm not making. My films are not just for a white audience, they're for a broader audience. They're it's taken this culture that we know and we love, and that black British culture, which really has its foundation in the music that is doing really well at the moment. It's taking that culture and trying to give it a bigger platform on screen, which is which captures all the mediums. We've got art in there, we've got fashion, we've got everything all captured in this movie, and people want to go to the cinema to see that. So black people want to see that, as well as people outside our community, because you know what? It's authentic, it's real. And when television does it, it doesn't do it authentically enough.
Gosh, that's a great answer there. Natasha, what do you think about female representation? We spoke off camera, and you did feel that, The Intent 2 needed some stronger female roles. Do you think that's because it's a predominantly, Femi's smiling there, do you think it's because it's a predominantly male industry?
I think, but it's a bit of both. It would be nice to see more females. That's what I feel passionate that maybe I'm gonna then write a film that shows the woman's side of things.
You heard that, Femi, yeah?
Yeah. Because we're always the victim. We're always the girlfriend. We do some things as well, do you know what I mean? So it would have been nice to see that kind of side of it. But the film was amazing still.
The film was amazing.
I think if you look at the film, when we created the first one, we realised actually there aren't that many women in this world. And I was trying to...
In the world, Femi?
In the
Bring
world,
me your wrist.
No, in the world of the film, film that we created. And
Why?
In that, because actually when we wrote it, it's because we're men. And we're just thinking a male way, and then we just... But at the same time, when you don't really see many of these crime films with women unless it's a female gang, which they've done before, and I don't think that really worked. And but at the same time, we're thinking, how can we try to battle that in The Intent 2?
Okay.
How can we
so
improve
you realise that
and,
it was
and we
lacking.
actually put one of the main antagonists in the film
As a bad female,
is a woman, and atypically that character would be a man, because she's the main boss in the whole film. So atypically that person would be a man, but we made a conscious decision to make that a woman. And where we can, we try, but I just feel like that world that we'd created, it's a very male-dominated world, and it didn't afford us the opportunity to really explore the perspective of the women. So I will take that criticism. And like, you know, but there are other projects that we're making, like, you know, I'm making a rom-com, which is all about these girls that go on the trip of a lifetime after completing university. But really and truly, this is just the beginning. And I am passionate about portraying the full spectrum of the Black British as well as working class experience, because that's what I grew up on and those are the people that I know and love.
Femi, congratulations and well done. Don't forget also, take us with you. Still to come, we look at the representation of Black people in British film and we ask, is there a cultural disconnect between the people who make these films and the people who watch them? See you after the break. Welcome back to Nonny. Research conducted by the British Film Institute shows that 59% of UK films released between 2006 and 2016 did not feature a single Black actor in any named character role. Those success stories like Daniel Kaluuya and John Boyega and Femi Oyeniran are encouraging. There's no denying that there is still a way to go. Films such as The Intent to and Yardie are paving the way for Black representation in the UK film industry. But is this enough? Do people of colour simply have to create their own content to be taken seriously by mainstream media companies? 59%. That's shocking, Femi.
I'm not surprised. I feel like, you know, if you look at the same British Film Institute that's carrying out the research, is the same British Film Institute that funds the majority of these movies. And so it's a bit disheartening, but at the same time, you think about what is made as British film and, like, you know, what goes out to the world as British film. It's not, there aren't films like Yardie, they aren't, you know, Kiddo did no, like, hardly any business internationally, but that's a classic in this country. So, like, you know, absolutely, not just to, like, people from Black and working class communities, people overall, like, you know, and so for me, I just find it a bit, I'm not surprised, and you know, you look at Daniel Kaluuya's success. That's come from an American.
That's your
platform.
boy as well.
You know,
bring him on the. Bring him, yeah.
I mean, like, I went to school with him, and like, but that's a platform that was created in America. That was made in America. That wasn't made in Britain. You look at John Boyega. That's a platform that was, you know, sort of created here, but at the same time, it was made in America. It was created through an American opportunity. So if you look at, you know, Black content and Black actors and Black representation in England, it doesn't really happen, and it's, I feel, there's just loads of excuses all the time, and there's lots of chat, lots of buzzwords, like, you know, people saying diversity and all of, but not enough action.
Heard it all before.
Not enough action. I think, you know, if you look at, you know, Graham Pains, something like that, if that was in America, it will get picked up.
Could be The Wire. I'm telling you, it's so good.
And that's what happens.
I feel like they don't, when they do a Black film or a Black show, it's never made by Black people, so it's not true anyway.
Oh my God,
so
sister,
pointless.
talk.
But it's pointless because it just comes across, they get like someone else to play a Jamaican, and you can tell the accent is just so fake.
Yeah.
It's just,
we've seen it with African films, and they get somebody, and it's like, hang on a minute, but there's so much of a pull for you to come from. But why is it? You're inner the industry, Femi. You have actually tasted fame. Why is it happening? Is it just because it's Britain? And whether we like it or not, does Britain belong to white people? Is that a controversial thing to say?
I sit with these people all the time, and they'll say to you, we'd love to employ more Black talent, but where are they?
Wow.
Where are they?
Wow.
No, I see.
I've heard that. I've heard it.
Where are they? Where are, like, you know, they're so perplexed, because actually what you find, Britain is diverse, but people live within their social circles, and not many people travel across social strata.
They live in Brixton. Yeah. They don't live in Brixton.
I mean, they don't travel across, like, racial and social strata. And so what you end up with is that people live in their isolated experiences. And so because the people that make the decisions tend to be white and middle class, mostly male, they don't really know Black people, and they don't understand Black culture. Yeah. And so, you know, when the Intent to is funded by Island Records. It's a record label.
Yes.
They don't fund movies. But the reason we ended up going with Island Records was because they were the only people that understood the value of our proposition. I would go into meetings all the time trying to explain to people in film, which is like the most white industry ever. Like literally every single distribution company in this country, and there's not one, I've met a paralegal and 2 black receptionists, and everyone else that I've met.
Shocking.
I've been to everyone's office, actual fact. I've been to every single, from your Lionsgate to Studio Canal to Vertigo to, I can name check all of them. And absolutely, you go into their office, there's either no person of color whatsoever, or there's a receptionist, or I met a paralegal at Studio Canal that was helping out with a deal I was doing over there. So at the end of the day, there aren't diverse people behind the scene.
Gosh.
And so there's no way there's going to be diverse people on screen.
This is serious.
Unless they feel sorry for the cause, or that there's a reason, or they're put under pressure to do it. I don't even think the people in power...
A want or a
they
desire.
Don't even think.
Or they're
they
not
don't
even
think.
yeah.
It's not even in their paradigm to
Do you know,
think.
look, oh gosh, this is deep. Femi, you arrived on
going for
Noni.
it.
This is,
I'm going for it.
I love this kind of chat, and you've got to come on and talk more about this. But let me just throw this to you, Natasha. Are we trying to seek validation? It might sound like a cheap question, but should we just not be happy with our own community supporting our projects? Or is it a necessity that we have white English or the mainstream adopting us, showing us on screen?
I'm not really happy with that. I think we shouldn't be happy with that. Let's go for it. It's our responsibility to show what our culture is. And I feel often like when we are on a bigger platform, we go towards the comedy. We laugh about our culture, our accents. We're always the uneducated black man, and we're laughing at this uneducated black man jumping up and down. And it's time to stop that. And let's make some serious films the same way that the white people do.
Do you agree that sometimes we're just the entertainer? We're just...
I mean, to a certain extent, but at the same time, I think we have to look at it as, our content, black people make content that's not just for black people, it's for everyone to consume. That's the only reason for making content. The only reason for making film is so that people can watch your film, or even if you write a novel. That's how we empathize with people and understand the way they look at the world. And so, like, the argument that black content is just for black people, it should just be for black people, I'm totally against that.
Okay.
Because white content, I've grown up on loads of white content. I've got
we all
lots
have.
of white
We all
cultural
have.
references.
Great content.
And so if I'm a richer person for it, and I understand the world better because of it. And so I feel like that should be the case for everyone. I feel like your show is not just for black people, it's for everyone. And the intent is for everyone. And there's this paradigm where it's like, oh my gosh, it's a black film. So it's not for me then, it's only for black people. No, it's everyone's invited in the same way everyone's invited to watch James Bond. Everyone's invited to watch Growing Pain. Everyone's invited to watch everything.
Everyone's invited to watch Noni as well. Yes. Let me ask you, Natasha, do you think sometimes we can be guilty of conforming? Let me throw in Daniel Kaluuya, for example. Where are you, bruv? Come back.
What do you mean, where
He's
is he?
gone. I've not seen him back in London.
2 weeks ago.
He's your friend. He's your friend. Who is he speaking to? Who's he giving interviews to?
He lives here. Daniel Kaluuya hates fame. He doesn't like being famous. He's
in the wrong industry.
Exactly, and he says it.
Get out!
He says it all the time. He says I'm an actor, but the fame element.
Fair
of it,
enough.
I don't really like.
But do you feel sometimes that people conform? Another big name, Ashley Walters. I love him. We love you. We're just having a chat. We're not throwing anyone under the bus. Yeah. Some people said Ashley Walters conformed.
Conformed how?
I don't think he did.
I think these guys are non-conformist. I think Daniel Kaluuya, you see him at the Rated Awards. You see him at, he's still in the community. He just doesn't like being out there like that.
Femi, Ashley Walters, they're opening doors, and this is the great thing about British film at the moment, Black British film, is that all the people before us, now they've opened the door, and now we can actually generate good quality films. And so let's do it.
No, it is. I think it's so important. What kind of advice, Femi, would you give to, filmmakers like Natasha, who's experienced, and I know you're going to give her a casting role in that rom-com, but what kind of advice do you give to people that are creating content, but want the mainstream. How do you knock on the doors? Is it who you know, or is there a way that you can make it?
The original intent was made independently. It was fully financed by me, my business partner,
Can
Nikki
I ask
Walker.
how much that cost?
It was just over 100k, and we spent another. No, but we raised it from
100K?
friends. I raised that from, like, fortunately for me, I've got, like, you know, friends that are well off and are able to do that. But, like, you know, even if you scale back and you raise less money from your family and friends, you, like, you know, the people that are going to invest in you initially are, and I invested a lot of my own money into that film. And so at the end of the day, I feel like you have to believe in yourself first. Yeah. You have to prove your model first. Yeah. And, like, you know, the intent too wouldn't have happened. I mean, we got to shoot in London and Jamaica. We had a premiere in London, Leicester Square, and we had a premiere in LA. We had a premiere in JA, in Jamaica as well a few days ago. And so we're only able to do this because we gambled on ourselves in the first place. And what I would say to people is that, you know, make sure you take risk on yourself and you put yourself out there and you make your own content. And then the other people will come. People will come once you prove your model, but people don't take risk in people like that. Do
you know what, guys? We got to wrap up. It's just, I know. It's one of those conversations. Nonny is like that. You start, you want to keep going, and we cut it short. We got there, Femo. That's it from me, Juliana Olayinka, and my fabulous guests, Femi Oyenirun and Natasha Adams. Don't forget, guys, Nonny's now online. Wherever you are in the world, go to www.yankatv.com to check out every single episode. Join me next time for more Nonny Chat. Goodbye.